All right, everybody, we are at chapter 7 for our 15 laws of growth, and we are diving into the law of design. And this specifically is about maximizing our growth potential, developing those strategies and putting those steps in place to help us develop that growth. Obviously, what we're doing right now, weekly Zoom call and reading this book, is a huge step in the direction for each one of us, because I know personally this is something that I've just jumped into in the last few months. And I feel like a lot of that has been the same for you. Now, what I would love just to do today is just to share some of the strategies that you guys do outside of, say, this book club to help yourself grow personally. It can be in any facet of your life. But like the end of the book said, this is not, or the end of this chapter said, it's not about taking everybody's strategies and trying to make them your own. It's taking the advice and just hearing what other people have to say and applying it to what works best for you. So I just want to send that, message out right first and foremost, so that you guys realize that, someone may be talking about what they're doing and you're, oh, I wish I could do that. This isn't to defeat you. This is to encourage you to try to take some, takeaways from this. So let's just start with, what you're doing, strategies, what you're putting into play for just helping yourself develop. That's why I'm signed on as two different people.
I'm sorry.
This is so funny. So I'm obviously still logged in on your computer.
I'm sorry.
It's so funny. I was just telling them, I'm like, this is creepy. I don't understand why I'm two people on here.
Well, I couldn't figure out. I'm like, it wouldn't come up as me, and I'm like, what in the world am I doing? Let me log
When I
on.
logged on, it said that I had to assign a new host because I was signed on another device. And I'm like, I don't think I am. I'm looking at my phone. And
I'm so sorry.
no worries. Hey, I'm glad it works. I'm recording.
Okay.
It's totally fine.
Okay.
So, no, I was just saying, just starting with just sharing strategies that y'all are using just to help yourself with personal growth and just all different areas of your life. Just share away. We have a couple people that might be a little late, but go ahead, whoever is ready.
All right, I guess I will start.
Yay.
So just one of the big things growth-wise that I know I need to do, and Tracy, you and I have talked about this, is stepping definitely out of my comfort zone. And, my big, I guess, thing that I've always struggled with is selling the business. I've really kind of always stepped back from that aspect of it. And just shared my love for the products, shared knowledge about the products, but never really the business side of it. So that is one piece that I need to grow in. And I've really taken a lot away from several of these chapters on getting out of your comfort zone and sharing that passion. And it's, you can still share it, but then also take the business side of it too. And, kind of blend the two together without sounding salesy, because if it comes from your heart and you're passionate about it, people are going to see through that. They're not going to see it as, oh, she's just trying to sell another product. So that's something that I'm really trying and going to really step out of my comfort zone is to share more of the business side aspect of it so that I can grow my little team. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Anyone else?
So one thing that kind of struck me is, which I don't know if anybody else has done this, but like sometimes I think I've overcomplicated things for myself. Like it's taken me a really long time. I mean, I'm going to try this way and try this way. And I don't know. So I kind of like to always talk about just simplifying a system that works for you, and I recently went and I think I bought 4 notebooks, and one is just all for prospects and people I've talked to. And because I cannot tell you how many times I wasted time trying to go back through my one huge notebook and sticky notes and this and that, and I couldn't find things I was looking for. It was drove me nuts,
Yeah.
So it took me a little time to do some transferring over, but like I now have my like 4 little notebooks, and like my notebook here is just for my Zoom calls and trainings, and that organization is helping me kind of create a system. And so now when I sit down, if I do a power hour or if whatever, I just know what notebooks I'm grabbing. I mean, it just helps my mind work easier. And so I felt like I could relate to what he was talking to about in some of this chapter here.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along, Carrie, with what he was talking about with how he kept things in files. I loved that. Like certain quotes that I see other, Plexus friends post, or even friends of mine or family members where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can relate to that, like how he said quotes that he sees or things in books and where he marks the page numbers and then files it away. And then that he can use at a later date when he needs it.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked the, it overwhelmed me hearing him talk about that a little bit too, because I'm like, I would ideally love to have that, idea, but my sticky notes do work. So like, I have to share that side of, yeah, he's got that support, but I'll tell you, I mean, my sticky notes, I stare over here. I have my sticky notes of my favorite quotes and things up here. And I'll share with you guys too, like, I always have my one bag because every day I at some point leave. Like today I had a coffee date with like my pastor's wife, and then I had to get some groceries. And so if for some reason I was in my car and had time, which I didn't today, but had I had time, I had it with me. And this is like a dollar bin folder, and it always has my like my most recent report that I printed. Any of my sticky notes, which I actually just went through on the airplane this weekend, but I stick all my sticky notes on the inside of my folder so I don't lose them. And then my next color promotion notebook, I like buy like the next color, like as my visual. So like whatever color you're going for, get that. And I have had this since like the 3rd month of Plexus, and it's what I call my Plexus Bible, and it goes with me everywhere, and it is my prospecting list, and it's like all the names I've ever contacted, and I revisit it all the time. That's my follow-up book, that's my pipeline right there. So I'm not fancy like at all. So people ask me all the time, like, what do you do? What's your spreadsheet look like? How do you use Lexi? Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, oh man, like this is how I work though. I feel a very organized person, but it's very, pen and paper scratch kind of. That's how I work. So, like, hopefully you guys have some more ideas to share, because I know we have more people, not just here as the leaders, but on the team that would thrive off of like the Excel spreadsheet or a little bit more organization and how they work their business. So if you have other thoughts, share, please.
Tracy, one quick question with your little Bible. Whenever you revisit it, do you like check off or like
check?
Just to check if you.
Truthfully, the easiest way, because I do Facebook Messenger mostly, you can go back and see. Like I can see, okay, they've read 4 times and haven't messaged me, and so I'll approach the message different. Every time I reach out, it is a different thing. It's either an event, it's a special, it's just checking in on you, like that kind of stuff. So I never, like the last 4 messages that they would receive is never the same message. Like I'm not, just checking in on you, wanted to see how you were doing, or if you're still interested in Plexus. No, it's very different approach every time. So that's why I like Messenger, because it never goes away. Any other thoughts?
I guess I'll share a little kind of what I have and use. So I have 2 different binders. Every month I have a calendar, and I write 5 names in each day of people that I want to reach out to or follow back up with. It's in my purse because it goes with me in my calendar everywhere that I go. But then I have a binder that is like for business. So I just have tabs in here. One says ambassadors, and it has a name. It's just my writing of all like levels 1s and 2s, because that's all I have. But it's just what we've ever talked about, and I just keep writing on there. And then there's one that says first steps, basically just the email that you send to new preferred customers and new wholesalers, or retail customers too, if you have them. And then daily IPA. I put all my calendars in this so I can see like whose name was where, type of thing. But I like the idea of writing down more of what you talk about so that you don't have to scroll back through Messenger, because it does get a little kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I have a tab.
Communicating. Yeah, absolutely. If you're communicating, you can definitely write down some highlights. But if you're messaging with lack of response, then,
right.
There's not much
to
look.
And then there's one that just says coaching. So it's like stuff that Shannon and I, or you and I, or Ray or Nicole or anyone that we've talked about. I just kind of jot my notes down back there. So it's stuff that I can share with other people. And then my other binder just has product information. So all the fact sheets from the back office, all that kind of stuff, I just put in there. So if somebody's asking me a question, I can quick just pull that out, and I don't have to sift through a bunch of different papers or try to like look up really quick on my phone. If I'm home, I just have it right there. So
yeah, that's awesome. So good. Anything else on your just own what you already do?
I'm terrible with names sometimes, but who was the diamond that was on that did like the note cards? She did like prospects. She had a whole notebook of.
Yep.
I can't think of her name.
Emily Roberts.
Was it Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to Denise about her too when we were at work, and I'm like, I cannot think of her name. But anyways, I started that like in the very beginning when I started Plexus, just because I do better with writing things down. And then I kind of threw it to the wayside, and then hearing her say it again kind of reassured, like, oh yeah, maybe that was a good idea. So I actually got a few new things like that this weekend, just to kind of start kind of fresh, and then slowly go back through and kind of do a little bit of what I have already, customers I already have, but start it from like, this week of who, like new people, so that I can kind of get caught up with that. But yeah, that's what I started to.
That's awesome. Let's, whoa, I don't know what that noise is. Let's just kind of flip a little bit and go, what are some other strategies that you've developed that you do to help with growth just personally? Obviously, that's a lot of business, things that we've done, but like personally, what have you guys done? And it doesn't have to be since you've been starting reading this book. It can be like, for me, 2.5 years, there's been a lot of personal growth, with Plexus. So just what have you noticed, and what has just like naturally developed, or something you're putting in place?
It's nothing special, but today I actually asked for help.
Good job.
Yay! No, I was just thinking about it because I went on a field trip with my son last Thursday, and I'm going to go on a field trip with my daughter this Thursday. Mm-hmm. So I was like, guys, I'm skipping 2 of my gym days for you guys. So you guys have to come with me after school today to gym. And they have a daycare. So they were like complaining. I'm like, hey, I'm spending a full day with you there and a full day with you there. That's the least you can do. And then I was like, well, our exchange student came home after swim practice, and I said, you know what, you can get a ride home, and why don't you start dinner for us? Just a simple dish. Mm-hmm. And so she made the dinner. She was happy to do that, and she got a ride home. And I mean, I felt so great.
Awesome.
I mean, the whole feeling about it, just to finally put something in place to kind of get stuff off my shoulder, and also take the time and be a little bit more selfish.
Yes.
So that was a really good breakthrough
Absolutely.
for me today.
I think as moms, we definitely carry that weight of like, I for sure do too, like just trying to do it all, and just, getting it all done for everybody. And I mean, tonight was a prime example. It was a very stressful night in my house. And, I asked my oldest to unload the dishwasher, and he said, do I have to? And I said, nope, you don't. That alone was enough guilt. He's like, I don't. And like, he was like, well, do you want me to? And I was like, yes. Will you be mad if I don't do it? Like, the whole conversation was just like, he was processing it, And I was like, well, yeah, I'll be upset, but I'll get over it. 2 minutes later, he starts unloading the dishwasher. I'm like, well, like just that, like him stepping up for one, but me just being like, I'm not going to get mad. I asked you. It's like a serving thing that we're trying to teach, And then I made the joke on Facebook of my son cooking chicken nuggets in the microwave. If y'all didn't see, it was a big night. He was very proud of himself for fixing dinner. And I'm like, hey, that was 5 minutes I didn't have to do of like getting it all out. And it helps when you give up a little.
Yeah, and just the whole mindset, like kind of like stepping up and say, hey, I do so much for you. You could come back and do something for me too. And it's not that I'm asking you to, move the rocks around. It's not a big deal. You have fun in the daycare, and she probably totally enjoyed doing the other stuff too,
Yeah.
and just giving back to us a little,
That's awesome. One thing that I've done is for the last probably since I got back from Hawaii, I've been getting up between 5 and 6 every single morning. And I have been either doing my quiet time or my work or working out, but it's been consistent. Yesterday wasn't. I got up at 7 today. I will fully admit it, but my child wasn't sleeping, so I wasn't sleeping. But it's made a huge difference in just how I do my day. Like a game changer that it's like already created that habit where waking up at 7, I feel super anxious because I haven't had 2 hours to get stuff done. So it's worked for me. It's made me take those priorities of being in the Word or the work that I have just like, keep needing to get done, or working out, like trying to get it done. I haven't been doing the working out as much in the mornings because I've found that, my time is more valuable in those hours quietly, than leaving and going to work out. I feel like it makes me rush still. But yeah, that's been really helpful for me. Anything else?
I'll just add, I think just starting out the day, like Tracy, that shine text.
Yes.
I like that little thing. It like starts the day up, but I mean, just kind of right off the bat, putting that positive mindset right at the beginning of the day. And then even just it also, talking about like giving up or asking more for help. But even this year, like the last couple months of school, I've really stepped back from like volunteering as much as I have in the past, and just saying no. And that is so hard for me to do, especially if you've been doing it for so long. They kind of just expect it. And I've really just had to step back. And it's been such kind of a good feeling to not expect to be at every single thing now. So, just learning to say no every now and then and prioritize that way too.
Yep, definitely. That goes on to the next concept is life is not a dress rehearsal, and it was just that concept of like, you don't get a retry every time you try something, and yes, thankfully in this business, we do have those like ups and downs and comebacks from like weak moments and things that way. But I do think that what he's saying here is you can set yourself up for success if you're not giving yourself that trial run, right? If you're constantly giving yourself a trial run, it's really hard to like really be fully in. Like, just like they say in Plexus, draw your line in the sand and you will be more successful than when you're on the other line wanting and wishing to be on the other line of the sand. If you draw it, you will create actions to get over that line. And, the things that he said was, life isn't a practice. This is the real thing. I would have taken better care of my health. I would have managed my money better. I would have spent more time with family. I would have spent more time on personal development. I would have had more fun. I would have planned my career better. I would have given more back. And those are all things that like should be our, I want to statements or I am going to statements, like those are the things that we want to be able to be doing in our current life now. And if you're not there, like look at that list. It's at the end of page 105. Just look at that list and say, okay, what can I be doing now to make those statements positive, and to make those statements like action items. Let's see. I'm kind of skip through the next part. The multiply everything by 2. Did you all kind of understand that? Did you like it? Were you like, oh, that makes sense, or yeah. I'm like, I get what he was saying. But I think the only statement that I highlighted in that whole part was that, like, in comparison, he says, a tree grows slowly over years, decades, or even centuries. It produces fruit for decades, and if healthy, it stands up to frost, storms, and drought. I understand that, like, the planning your life aspect and, like, being intentional about your plans and your goals and things, that if you do have the mindset, just like that line is drawn in your sand, if you have that mindset that you're still going to go anyway, you will get through those setbacks, those losing customers, those losing ambassadors. You'll get through that because you know you can ride the storm and get to the other side, you know, because that's your plan. And you still will have, you know, a fruitful business. That was my relation to it. But yeah, there's some of the systems or some of the things in here that were a little bit more unapplicable, I think, on necessarily like my life. But if you guys had something with it, please share, because it wasn't clicking for me through it all.
What I also liked is that he said it's related to the quote you just said, is it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, we all have to be patient with ourselves. And even though we're doing this book right now, we might take some things out of it, but we probably can't do everything at once. We just have to take it in pieces. And, you know, as life goes on, we're going to change, but we can't just change like this.
Right. Yep.
I kind of as like, I mean, I'm not a patient person. It's probably a very large downfall of mine, but like I kind of took it as like, you can't do something and expect a result the next minute. So you kind of, I mean, multiplying it by 2, multiply it by whatever, but it's going to take time again. And like, I kind of relate it to our house. Like, we've done a lot of stuff to our house, and I'm like, no, let's get it done. Like, why isn't it not done? It's not that hard, you know, but like everything takes time. And at the end of the day, like, I have trim in my basement now. I wanted it a month ago, but I have it now. And does it make any difference? No, because now I have it, you know? So it just kind of, I think for me, kind of made me realize like, you can't want everything right now in this moment. You kind of have to pull yourself back and realize like what you're doing is going to get you there. So however long you think it's going to take, times that by 2, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, and I think going on to the next part when it's talking about like effective systems being in place, we don't start with effective systems in place. We have to create them, build them, work with them, tweak with them. I mean, we're all trying, you know, we have a duplicatable business, but we have to fit that into our lifestyle. So everybody's is going to look different, you know? So when he's talking about in the next section, like, what does a system include? Obviously the big picture, the goals, is it manageable? Is it measurable? You know, just like the, what we used to do, you know, back in high school when they made us SMART goals or whatever, you know, are they specific and measurable and achievable? All those, like, that's the way I felt he was talking about right here is, you know, yes, these are strategies to help us grow and develop personally and in our business. But they don't happen overnight. It's something that we have to work with and figure out what's best for us. Like, the simplest thing is, like, for me, I'm growing because of earbuds. Like, I'm an audible girl. Like, if I'm alone, those things are in my ear. You know, if Braylon's napping, they're in my ear. You know, running or like folding laundry, doing dishes, it's like Les Brown, John Maxwell. Who can tell me something in my ear that's going to change what I'm thinking up here or what I'm feeling? You know, like, it's just constant for me. And I think that's been a biggest piece for my growth. Like, I love these books, and because you can like work through it and highlight it and really kind of like pull some stuff out. But I finish a book, and very rarely, like he said, do I thumb back through it and look at those like quotes and those highlighted things and those things that I really took away. So it's something I hope to do with this one a little bit more, because I've connected with this book a lot. But I don't know. I feel like when I hear someone telling me, like, I was reading You Are a Badass. It's kind of a little bit strong for me, some of the vocabulary in it, but I couldn't read that book and have the same tone to me as she does when she's reading it in Audible. So I feel like she's reading it to me and telling me that you are you know what? So it's really cool. It just kind of depends on like how you are as a learner, but that's the way I like it. So I'm just going to jump back to hold on one second. Let me get to the last part. In the last part, when he's talking about effective systems promote consistency, it's on page 115. I feel like that is like the one tiniest piece of the law of design that speaks like, straight to Plexus. Whatever your strategies are, consistency is what's going to help you be successful. We know it true with our products. We know it true with our IPAs. We know it true with personal growth. Having this weekly and having this accountability of being on this call every Wednesday night has been like huge value to me. And so I hope that you guys feel that way too, but it's the consistency of it. Because if we didn't have this every Wednesday night, I would not have maintained a chapter a week. So making sure that you have that effective system in place or accountability or whatever it is helps you be consistent. I like that he said, in other words, if you want to succeed in the long run, you must learn to be consistent day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out. And I feel like that's something that we talk to even our customers about, like making changes daily. Like daily change is what will help you work out more, eat healthier, like taking those baby steps and being consistent with those baby steps is what's going to help you have like that healthy change. I was at my coffee this morning. I was just talking about, she was talking about my time management and she's like, well, how are you doing with it all? And like, and work and life and blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, today or this week, because I've had a sick kid, the dishes, haven't really stayed up. The laundry's not been kept up. But for the most part, like I still do what I do, like, cause it's what I do daily, like, yeah, we're going to have some setbacks when a kid is sick or something's coming up or vacations. But my early mornings get stuff done. You go about your day doing your things for your kids or your work. And then at the end of the day, if it's not done, I stay up late and get done, but that's because I've created that consistency. Like I've done that day in and day out for the last, couple of years now that's what works for me. So I quoted it today, but the quote of you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. And you guys don't have to, have a plan or anything right now, but if you do share, like, let us know what it is that like, oh, I need to change this daily, or I need to, work on this weekly. What do you guys want to do to help yourselves with growth?
Yeah, I want to say real quick what has helped me with the consistency now, and actually the Facebook video of what you guys shared about the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I combined this with my live video this morning. So I have basically asked my friends and on Facebook to hold me accountable. So I told them every Friday night I would go live and basically tell them about my health goals and my my weeks of what I've done with the exercise, so that I keep going, because I've realized with this book that I'm a person who I need small goals. Like the big goals, I have that's fine, but it doesn't help me in the day to day. So I need like smaller chunks of stuff. And and I've realized this with this, you're right, with this week to week accountability, like you make sure on Tuesday morning, oh my God, where am I with the book? Wednesday, oh, I gotta catch up. Even though you might have done something already, but it's true, it holds people accountable. So I figured like I'm gonna ask my friends now every Friday night to hold me accountable, and that goes in my mind for twofolds. One is for my exercise and stuff, but also like mentally for me as a checkup, like thinking, what did I do for my IPAs this week? What did I do for this? So that I hold myself accountable every Friday night as well. So I've just started this today, this morning, actually. I decided to do that. So that's
awesome.
what I've taken away with that system.
That's great. Anything else?
I just wanted to, I highlighted a part that kind of goes with this, but it says both plan and action must go together. The plan creates the track, the action provides the traction. So anytime you have a goal, but you think that you won't be able to reach it, don't adjust the goal, adjust the action steps.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that kind of hit home to me because like I might throw out a goal there for like the week and then I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't make that. So I'm just gonna make the goal different. But I'm not really thinking about like, did I actually do the right actions to get me to that goal, you know? So that like hit home to me because I was like, oh yeah, it is kind of more the action for me, more than actual, like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah.
But I like that what he said with adjusting it, because like, well, you're still gonna do it next month, you just have to edit or something, like, yeah.
Yep.
So I have to work on that.
Yep. All right, guys, I don't mean to cut you short, but I'm going to have to call it a quits tonight. I got a birthday present to buy before it closes at 10 o'clock. Because this mom's rolling on late night.
Hey, be very careful though at the Target parking lot, okay? I got freaked out. Somebody shared a video with me about like people getting kidnapped in Target parking lots. So just be
Really,
careful.
thanks a lot. Now you're going to have me like shaking in my britches.
I'm sorry, just be vigilant, okay?
Oh my gosh. I'll run with my light on. You're funny. All right. Thank you guys for jumping on tonight and continuing to make this a priority. We'll see you next Wednesday night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.